Before studying respiration in plants, the chapter we studied is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process in which plants manufacture food materials using simpler inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water produce the glucose. Glucose is a complex substance in which the energy is stored. Okay. Now we shall study respiration. All living organisms require energy for their life activities. What is the meaning of this sentence? All living organisms means it includes the plants and also animals. That is, both plants and animals, they require energy. For what purpose they require energy? That is very important. Energy is required for their life activities. Life activities means their metabolism. Metabolism. Say, just now we studied photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a metabolic process in plants. In that process, the food is manufactured. For that process, energy is required. Similarly, the energy is required for all metabolic process. You take animals. Digestion is a metabolic process. Excretion, a metabolic process. Reproduction is a metabolic process. Transpiration is another metabolic process. The growth and development is also another metabolic process. Locomotion, very important it is. For all these activities, the energy is required. Where is that energy? The energy is found in nutrients. Now, ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Because to get energy, not to get food, ಆಹಾರಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಎನರ್ಜಿಗಾಗಿ. ಆಹಾರದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಮಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. found in nutrients. Nutrient means organic substances. Organic substances means the carbohydrates, proteins, and also includes fats. So these are the nutrients or the organic substances which contain the energy. The energy is stored in these nutrients or in the substances in the form of chemical energy. This chemical energy stored, it is liberated. It is obtained by the organisms during respiration. It means when the respiration takes place, the energy is released. This is the energy utilized for all metabolic activities in organisms. Understand? ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? What we get? We get energy. That is very important. So, respiration is a catabolic process. You have studied photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is an anabolic process, but respiration is a catabolic process. Catabolic. Anabolic means it is the constructive process, the building process. Say, for example, construction of a building using bricks and cement. We construct the wall. It is an anabolic process. Say, in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water are used to produce the carbohydrate or the glucose. That is anabolic process. But in respiration, it is called catabolic process because it is a destructive process. In respiration, the energy stored in the nutrients in the form of potential energy. During respiration is released in the form of kinetic energy in stepwise manner by oxidative process. It means during respiration the energy is released. This is the energy the organisms make use. The potential energy means it is the stored energy, which is stored in the organic substances. Okay. So this energy is transformed into kinetic energy. That is energy to do work. Okay. Now, most of the reactions of respiration takes place in the mitochondria. You know mitochondria, the cell organelle. Some of the reactions of respiration also takes place in cytoplasm. That is, the reactions of respiration take place in cytoplasm and mitochondria. Majority of reactions, say for example, TCA cycle or Krebs cycle, electron transport system takes place in mitochondria. Okay. Now you must know the structure of mitochondrion, singular mitochondrion. Okay. See the diagram of the mitochondria. You have studied the diagram in the chapter, the unit, the cell, the unit of life. Same structure. Mitochondria, plural. Mitochondrion, singular. As you know, mitochondria are commonly known as powerhouses of a cell because the ATP is synthesized and stored also. Next, coming to the number, shape and size of mitochondria varies in different tissues. Okay. ನಮಗೆ ಅದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಬೇಡ. Now let us study the structure of mitochondrion. Each mitochondrion is surrounded by double layered membrane. You can see now the outer membrane and the inner membrane. In between these two membranes, there is a space. This space is called outer chamber. See the diagram. The inner membrane similarly encloses inner chamber or inner space. This space is filled with the granular substance called matrix. Very important one, matrix. Mitochondrial matrix. If we examine carefully the inner membrane of mitochondria, forms finger-like projections called cristae. Question for 1 mark. What are cristae? The inner membrane forms finger-like projections called cristae. Okay. These two membranes have specific enzymes for the function. You remember this point. Okay. On the cristae, if you examine carefully, dense particles means thick particles are present, called elementary particles or Racker's particles or FM particles. These are very important because associated with electron transport system of respiration. Okay. The mitochondrial matrix is very important because in that TCS cycle takes place or Krebs cycle takes place. Okay. In the mitochondrial matrix, there is DNA, circular DNA and RNA. Ribosomes are also present, but the ribosomes of 70S type. Okay. So, what is the function of mitochondrion? I already told you, mitochondria are very important because the important reactions like Krebs cycle reactions takes place in the matrix. Why these reactions take place in this matrix? Because each and every reaction is controlled by enzymes. The specific enzymes are present in the matrix. Similarly, the electron transport system ETS also takes place in the inner membrane, that is in the elementary particles of mitochondrion. Okay. Now, see the diagram. You can see outer membrane. You can see the inner membrane. Then the light green colored structure, matrix. You can also see the inner membrane space, intermembrane space, that is outer chamber. You can also see the cristae. Okay? See the diagram. Draw the label diagram of mitochondrion for 2 marks. Okay? Now we shall proceed to next one. That is respiration. Definition. What is respiration? Respiration is an oxidative process. It is a cellular process in which the complex organic substances like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are broken down in stepwise manner into simpler inorganic substances like water and carbon dioxide. Release energy. The definition. We must analyze the meaning of definition. Then only we come to know the meaning. Respiration is an oxidative process. For this process, oxygen is necessary. what happens in this process? The complex organic substances, ಯಾವುದು? Carbohydrate means glucose, proteins and fats. These are the respiratory fuels, substrates broken down. How? In stepwise manner. Later on, you will come to know the steps when we study the reactions of glycolysis into simpler substances, means the end products, carbon dioxide and water. During this reaction, the energy is released. Okay? So, whenever the respiration takes place, the energy is released. During respiration, the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are used as respiratory fuels. Fuels means substances. Say, but sugar or the carbohydrates most commonly used as initial substrate. Glucose is used. Say, ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ, when he admitted to hospital, immediately doctor will give the glucose. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾಕೆ? Because immediately it enters into respiration and produce the energy. Energy ಬೇಗ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. That is why glucose is given. Similar way, glucose is the initial substrate in respiration. In the absence of glucose, proteins are used. In the absence of proteins, fats are also used. Say, for example, ಉಪವಾಸ ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನು ತಿನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಆಗ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಬದುಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಫುಡ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಇದು ಅಲ್ವಾ? Now, very important point for examination and even CET or for NEET examination, the overall reaction of respiration. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives rise to 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 686 kilocalories of energy. From the above equation, it is very clear that for the oxidation of one molecule of glucose, 6 molecules of atmospheric carbon dioxide is necessary. To produce 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water plus 686 kilocalories of energy is liberated. How much? 686 kilocalories. That is, whenever one molecule of glucose is utilized or used during respiration, 686 kilocalories of energy is liberated. So this is the energy we utilize for other activities or life activities. You just see the reaction, chemical reaction of respiration. It appears just or quite opposite to photosynthesis. Is it not? But not so. Okay, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತಾ? ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ನ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗಿದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಇದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಅದೇ ಬೇರೆ. I told you during respiration the energy is liberated. Thus liberated energy is in two forms. One form we call heat energy. The other form we call chemical energy. See, I told you, whenever the glucose is utilized, one molecule of glucose utilized, 686 kilocalories of energy is liberated. Among these, only 38 ATP molecules are stored, synthesized and stored as chemical energy. The chemical energy means ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. So this energy is synthesized in mitochondria and stored in mitochondria. That is why mitochondria are commonly known as powerhouse of a cell. Okay. What about remaining energy? The remaining energy is released in the form of heat. We call heat energy. Thus, the energy liberated during photosynthesis is in two forms. One is heat energy, other is chemical energy. But the chemical energy is stored. Then it is utilized for the metabolic activities. Okay. ನೋಡಿ, ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಯುವರ್ 2 fingers into the nostrils of nose. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಉಸಿರು ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ you feel heat. You feel heat. Where it comes? It is nothing but the heat energy. Test ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, heat energy. In human beings, the temperature, body temperature is maintained constantly. ಆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವೆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್, heat energy is not produced. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೇ the dead body, if you touch the dead body, you feel cold. ಕೋಲ್ಡ್, ತಣ್ಣಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೋ ಎನರ್ಜಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೋ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ನೋ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್, ನೋ ಹೀಟ್. ನೋ ಹೀಟ್, ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಕೂಲ್. ಎ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು, ಸತ್ತಿರನ್ನು ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಬದುಕಿದಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಇಫ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್, ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ನು ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಟು ಡೆತ್ ಎ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಎಂದು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸತ್ತ ದಿವಸ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬ್ರೇಕು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇದು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಬರ್ತ್ ಡೆತ್ವರೆಗೂ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ದ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೀಟ್ ಆರ್ CET. Definition for the main examination. Forms of energy for NEET or CET. Okay? Thank you. Thank you once again. This is our first video on respiration. In the next class, we shall see the types of respiration. Okay? Thank you once again.